Hi, great people. How are you doing? Trust God you are fine. My name is Fola from Physical Fashion House channel. So we thank you for as many that has been subscribing to our channel. So if you are yet to subscribe, do well to subscribe today. Thank you. So today I will be teaching you how to make a 12 pieces bustier top. So let's go. So now this is the pattern drafting for the bustier. On this pattern draft, we have our chest line of 6 inches. 6 inches is the chest line. Bust point 10 inches. Under bust line 13 inches. Waist line 17 inches. And the hip line 24 inches. So your hemline 1 inch is okay for your hemline. I'm just using half an inch here. So and the bust span is 8 inches divided by 2, 4 inches. So we get it down here, then we connect it with a straight ruler. So now what you do is that on the bust point, you come downward with 1 inch, then you come upward with a 1 inch. So on the under bust line, you come to the left and to the right with a 1/4 or 1 inch, 1 inch. So let's just use a 1 inch here. 1 inch to the left, 1 inch to the right. Then on the upper chest line, we come to the right by 1 inch. We come to the left by, we can make it 1/4 or 1.5. It depends on how firm you want it to be. Especially if you are not adding yoke, it's good for this place to be very firm. Just let's use a 1/4, or you can use a 1.5. So having done that, you connect it. Then do the same to the this region. So for this down part, from the waistline, come down by 4 inches. Mark it. Then you now connect from this under bust to this 4 inches that you have come down with. Yes. So the next thing we have to do now is to take our horizontal measurements proper. And the bust we are working with is 36. So we divide 36 by 4, give us a 9. So on this line, you measure 9 inches. 9 inches. Whatever you're having inside here, you return it. We're having half inches there. You return it. Then we get 2 inches seam allowance. So on the waistline, the waist we are working with is 28. We divide 28 by 4, give us a 7 inches. 7 inches. You return whatever you are having inside A. Inside A, we are having 1 inch. You return it. Then get your seam allowance of 2 inches. Hip line. The hip measurement we are working with is 40. We divide 40 by 4, give us 10 inches. We mark 10 inches here. Then 2 inches seam allowance. We just connect it. Just blend it here because I don't want to have any sharp edges. So that is that. Then at the hip area here, I come up with like a 1.5 inches. Then I will shape it to give my top a cuff end. So you can make it 2 inches, still okay. Don't forget that we have our half an inch allowance here. So I connect it. So this is it. Now we want to cut out our our pattern drafting, but before we do that, I'll just by this side, because we are going to do some paperwork thereafter. But before we start that, let me extend this side, I mean the side of our top. I will be adding 2 inches. Can make yours 2.5 to 3 inches, still okay. So from here now, I will make another connection from this waistline. I will connect it again. So the next thing we are going to do now, before we cut it out, is that firstly, get your seam allowance, get them connected. So we are having 2 inches seam allowance, we have 2 inches here, 2 inches here. So I will connect it together. We have 2 inches here. So now what we're having here now, I'm going to divide it into 2. So here we have 5 inches here. So what I will do is that I take 2 inches here, 2 inches here. I take 2 inches from here. I take 2 inches. I take 2 inches. So I take 2 inches here. So I connect it. Yes. So now this is the one we are going to cut out, this one. But first of all, let us cut the original draft. So before we move on, let me quickly draw out our neckline. So for our neckline, I'll just, from this chest line, I'll just come down by 1 inch, because I don't want my neckline to be too deep. So I'll connect it. So I'm drawing out the sweetheart's neckline now, but I don't want it to be too deep. Yes. So here, for the upper chest line, oh sorry, here, beg your pardon, I meant to write a upper chest line here. This is our chest line. This is upper chest line. So here now, the chest line, the upper chest line of the person we are working with is a 34. Our bust is a 36, so our upper chest is a 34. When we divide it by 4, it gives us the 8.5. So we get our 8.5 here. We mark it. This we are having here, that is the like a 2/4. We return it. Then we get our seam allowance of 2 inches. So we extend this. So now from this now we create another armhole, and our armhole, to create the new armhole now, we connect this. From here we connect to this end, just this way. So this is our new armhole for this side. So let's cut it out now. So as we proceed in the class, I will let you know the reason why I have to come out here by 2 inches. So we off your hand here so that that place will not be too sharp. So I will extend my cuff hem to this end. Now, because what we are doing here is a 12 pieces top. So, and you know, this is our seam allowance of 2 inches. Here that I defined now, that's what I want to cut out now. I extend this to the upper region. This 2 inches. So I cut it out. So mind you, this is a seam allowance. This is the one we share into 2. This is what I want to cut out now. This is it. So now, what we are going to do now is that this, as we are cutting out as we place this in our fabric, what we are going to do is that from here, from this waistline, we are going to cut another paper now to join to this, to have another 2 inches. These 2 inches that we added here, we are going to do the same thing to this side, and this side, for it to form our pieces. So when I open it now, look at it this way. Here we are. Even this very one, this center, we are going to open this center. Let me just open it. So this is it now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We will have the same 6 pieces at the back. So it will make it to be 12 pieces. Before we place it on fabric, we are going to join from this waistline. We are going to join something like this. It might be 2 inches, it might be 3 inches. So let me just do that for you to see now. So what we want to do now, the joining we want to add from this waistline down, what is to give these pieces that flare or peplum effect at the down part, from waistline to the hip line. This is the way I want to do my paper work. This now I place another fresh paper under. Then I use my adhesive gum to gum it just from the waistline. This is the waistline here. So I've marked it on the wrist. From this waistline now, I mark 2 inches down here. 2 inches. I mark it here. Then I connect from this waistline to this 2 inches. From this waistline, I connect to these 2 inches. Yes. connect it. The curve M, I connect it. So then I cut it. So this is it. So on my fabric now, this is what I will place on my fabric for this. Then I had half an inch from up to down. I had half an inch. I had half an inch. I had it here. I had it up here. So I had a half an inch seam allowance from up to the down part. So I will just add half an inch to the down part here, because it was half an inch I used as a seam allowance before. So actually it's good you use 1 inch for the, if you have used 1 inch as a hem allowance in your drafting, so you don't need to add to the down part. So you just add half an inch to the up part here. So I will do the same thing to this, just the way I did this one. This is the side one. You know, we have added 2 inches to the side before, so we don't need to add to this side. This is the extra 2 inches that is being added when we were drawing our pattern. So now it is only this side we are going to add to. So we just measure 2 inches to this side. Then we connect from the waistline. Now, 2 inches has been slightly added to each panel. Now, we have added 2 inches here, 2 inches here from the waist. You know, we roll it slightly to meet the 2 inches down. So for this side, 2 inches has been added. You know, when we were drawing, we have already added 2 inches here. So 2 inches has been added to each side of the panel from the waistline to the hip line. So we added 2 inches, and we from waistline we slightly connect it. And when you are going, this is what you are going to use to cut out your fabric now. So, and when you place it on your fabric, ensure that half an inch seam allowance is added to both side and the upper part. So that is it. And this is the yoke. For the down part of the yoke here, ensure that you had half an inch when you place the yoke on your fabric. So by the time you join all this, by the time you copy it together, so you will pieces top, we have that beautiful peplum or flare effect at the down party. As it is, some people prefer these pieces effect to be only in the front, but if you want it at the back, the same method will be used for the back cuts. You are going to, you know, slash it the way we do for the front, and let all these 2 inches be added. Then you get the results. So hope you have enjoyed this video. So like it, drop your comment on the comments section, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.